This is an overview of the Fullcast Territory Management module. The Fullcast platform allows you to easily create territories for your sales and CS teams using a variety of methodologies. The platform connects directly with Salesforce, so once your territories are created, you can assign reps to territories and then those updates sync with Salesforce. Similarly, you can also easily manage runtime changes such as account moves.
So on the left-hand side, we have our segmentation. We see our typical EMEA, APAC, EMEA, LATAM region layout. If I open up EMEA, we can see now the segments further going into enterprise. There's additional territories, and then eventually landing all the way down into individual rep level territories. We have a rules-based structure in place, and what that means is there are a bunch of rules put in place behind these territories that automatically allocate accounts based on their firmographic information to the correct territory. We're going to go into that in a little bit, but first we're going to continue to just look at this grid and then talk a little bit about these KPIs. So the grid here is where all of our account information from Salesforce lands. So each night we bring in fresh data from Salesforce. As deals close, there's updated data in Salesforce, and therefore you want to be planning with the most up-to-date information available. And so this is refreshed nightly. And then additionally, we have our KPIs up here. These are customizable. You can build these within the Fullcast app. In this case, I've built a custom KPI out for the number of Tier A accounts. It's showing 26,000 total at the all companies level. And if I go ahead and select maybe EMEA, we'll see that these things refresh. And now I'm actually looking at about 2,700 Tier A accounts within the EMEA territory. Moving on to how our territories are built. So I'm just going to go ahead and collapse out the enterprise and the EMEA. And now we're going to look at the all companies. I'm going to 3-dot and then edit. And this is our rules engine. So there are a couple of different things that we can do to build out the rules behind our territories. We're going to go through the three main ones, which are bucket, smart plan, and map. There is the ability to build this out via industry if you are using our industry taxonomy module, and then also unique based on like unique information from maybe a pick list in Salesforce. So let's go into the mapping. This is the mapping logic for our territory region structure. And really, you can see the territories up at the top. They're color-coded along with the countries and how they're selected. If I wanted to actually change how a country is allocated, I can select EMEA in this case. And maybe we're going to allocate Mexico over to EMEA. We'll get a pop-out, confirm. And now Mexico, if I was to save this, would be part of EMEA. Additionally, we can use a lasso tool to select more than just one country at a time. So I'll go ahead and select a couple of these countries. I'm going to reassign these to EMEA, hit confirm. And now all the countries that I've selected have been allocated over to EMEA. There is the ability to also overlay metrics on the map. So I'm going to take my Tier A account metric, and I'm going to hit confirm. And we're going to go ahead and see this refresh. And essentially what this is doing is it's showing the accounts, or where the highest concentration of Tier A accounts exists is going to be the darkest grayscale. And anything that's a country that's got white means that there's just no Tier A accounts that exist here. So if I hover over the United States, we can see there's about 23,000 Tier A accounts. And then additionally, what's interesting is that we've now got a new balance, or the widths of these bars have changed, and I can actually see the balance of my territories in real time. This becomes a little bit more important when I'm building geo-based territories at like a state or a zip code level. And so we'll look at that a little bit later. So now moving into EMEA, let's go ahead and click on this. And now we're going to look at the bucketing option. And we've selected the field of number of employees, and this is just data coming from Salesforce. You can select annual revenue, or if you're splitting your segments up on other pieces of information, you can do that as well. And then we've just gone ahead and bucketed the employees in a certain way across our enterprise, SMB, and mid-market territories. This treatment of account families is going to be available no matter where you're at in the hierarchy. So as you build out a set of rules, you'll have the ability to select this. And this is really mostly important for when you have an enterprise go to market where the subsidiaries need to stay with the ultimate parent. In this case, we're going to leave everything as is, and we've chosen to not reassign children to the same segment. But if I did want to keep those subsidiaries with the ultimate parents, I could toggle that on, as well as use that with special criteria. Now, if we go ahead and go a little bit further, we can open up enterprise and let's go look at this geo split that we've got. We're in the mapping. We're going to hit next. And we've got our maps built out. And let's go ahead and also overlay the tier A account metric. I'm going to select the US to select that and then state level. So now we can see our heat map and then we can see our balance across our 5 territories. And Northwest is looking a little light, so maybe I want to go ahead and change that up a little bit. And I can do that by just purely selecting Northwest and maybe selecting a couple of these states and seeing what happens. Maybe Colorado. So this is changing a little bit. It's getting a little bit better. I can continue to mess with this till I'm happy and I feel like these things are balanced. Additionally, we can go all the way down if we're going to build out a zip code level territory. We can go into the 5 digits. We're going to unselect that. And now we're going to look at the zip codes. So right now, this is San Francisco. I could choose to build a geo-based territory just around San Francisco. We're not going to do that, but postal code stuff is available there. The last option we really have is the financial services. And in this case, financial services isn't geo-specific. So financial services is a vertical that exists across all of EMEA, enterprise. And what we wanted to do was build 5 equal territories. And we didn't want to just round robin, 500 financial services accounts. Here's 100 accounts. Here's 100 accounts. Here's 100 accounts. We actually wanted to do this with a little bit of logic. And we didn't want to spend all weekend trying to plan out what that would look like, balance that in a spreadsheet. Instead, what we've used is a smart plan. And this here, we just specify, well, what does a balanced territory look like to us? In this case, I've said, okay, let's go build out 5 territories. I don't want any more than 50 accounts in each of those 5 territories. This is optional, so you don't need to have this here, but you can. And then we give the smart plan the balance criteria. In this case, what we've chosen to do here is say, well, take all the accounts that are located in New York and balance them evenly across the 5 territories. New York is a really popular spot for financial services, so we want to make sure all 5 of these territories have an equal shot at New York-based accounts. So in this case, if there was like 10 New York accounts, we'd put 2 in each of the territories. Then the next step is to balance the annual revenue, the sum of the annual revenue across the 5 territories. So the goal would be to, if there was 10 billion in revenue, our goal would try to be to get each of the financial services territories to 2 billion in revenue each, which would add up to the 10 billion. Further on, we're then going to balance the number of accounts where the industry code is equal to tech. Again, that's that same. If there's 10 accounts, we're going to put 2 in each of the 5 territories. We've said, okay, let's just go ahead and distribute the rest of these equally among the territories. So any accounts that don't meet this criteria, we're going to distribute equally among those territories up to the 50. And that's it. If we have any exceptions, like maybe we've moved a couple of accounts manually to a territory because there's a rep that we want to keep accounts with, then we can actually also choose to include those in the smart plan balancing. So one rep isn't getting a higher level of New York accounts or tech accounts. because they've got the relationships established and you're trying to minimize disruption. And that's the smart plan. So now once we get all of this set up, right, we've got our whole go-to-market, it's balanced, we're really happy with how this is laid out, then we can move into our assignments. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Financial Services 1, and I'm going to move to the Assignments tab. And now we're actually looking at a couple of people that have already been assigned to financial services. We've got our CRO, which is inherited from the all companies level. And then we've got Jonathan, who is a sales manager. And Jonathan's also inherited. And if we actually kind of go up this chain, we can continue to see where is Jonathan assigned. So he's part of financial services, but still inherited. And so now we lose that inherited tag, and we know that Jonathan is the enterprise sales manager. So Jonathan's responsible for all of the enterprise segment. All right, going back to Financial Services 1. All right, Tio here is our account executive. Start date was June 6th, end date December 31st. So what does this mean to us? Well, we actually take all the accounts that are assigned to Financial Services 1 here in the grid, and we push this assignment data back into Salesforce. This could be updating the account owner. This could be updating the account teams, updating custom lookup fields. So depending on where you want to update your data in Salesforce, we can push this information into Salesforce. So in this case, a lot of customers will take Tio and make Tio the account owner of all the accounts in the financial services territory. Now, if Tio was to actually, leave the company before December 31st, we can go ahead and terminate Tio. And this maybe Tio is going to leave in, let's say, 2 weeks on September 9th. And now it's showing me everywhere that he's assigned. I don't really care much about LATAM Central in this example, but financial services is the one that we really care about. And so we're going to assign a permanent replacement. You can also do temp if that's going to be the case. And let's put Alana in as the permanent replacement. All right, so the workflow ran. Tio's still active. The assignment ends in 9 days, and now we see a future tag for Alana. So on September 9th, what will happen is Fullcast will pick up this change that Tio's done and Alana starts, and we will make the changes in Salesforce. We'll update the account owners, maybe update account teams, so that when Alana starts on September 10th, all of her accounts are in her territory. And that is an overview of the Fullcast territory management module.